Guys, we've entered the worst case scenario. He's back. And not the way you think. He's back because he never left.
Look at this list. This is what they told you to play the entire time. They told you you're not going to win unless you're playing 4 of the new £100 Luffy card. Unless you're playing... Oh, why Sabo is even in the deck? Take him out. You know what? We have to put in a new Sabo. This is what they're telling you have to do. All these silly outcomes that don't make sense. The reason BY wasn't working for you guys is because it was never broken. Presenting the working deck profile. I have some example games for you guys, so I'm not here to waste your time. I beat Enel with this build. I beat Nami with this build. I beat Blackbeard with this build. He asked to run it back. I beat Blackbeard again with this build. Now the first time it was luck, but the second time I think I actually made it happen, and I'll show you all 4 games. This was an incredible day, and this list is incredible, so let me walk you through it. So first we start off with the leader. You guys know what the leader does. It's what brought you guys to my channel in the first place. It's why you subscribed the first time, and it's why you're going to stay subscribed. All face-up life cards will go straight to the bottom of your deck instead of your hand. Zero cut. If you have 0 life, Don times 2 on the leader, activate main, you can get 2 5-cost characters from your trash, add them to your life face-up. You get these guys, you get these guys, and you swap them out for babies, and you dominate. Each of these guys have the effect that they're going to give your leader 2k, so if you do 2 in the same round, your leader's sitting on 9k going into your opponent's turn. Whilst you're on 0 life, it's risky. This is a card that people are telling me to play. They said you're going to need it because of all the unblockable in the series. Give yourself a last second life, because if you activate this on 0, you give yourself a life and it costs nothing. We don't need it. I might sub it in later, who knows. But for now, we don't need it. So cool, let's get through with this. To start off with Luffy, the leader, discard 1 from your hand. If your life is at 0, you may add 2 5-cost characters. You add these characters in and you sub them out. Easy as. We play these Sanjis because it not only ups the 2k amount to a total of about 11. I'm not actually bothered to count it. But Sanji also lets you mill cards. Understand that in this deck, the way you reach into your graveyard, milling 5 is basically drawing 5. Like honestly, everything that goes into your graveyard is so usable for you. Not everything, most things. Sabo. People said to take this card out, but even though it's block 1, it never got cycled simply because it's a manga. Mangas don't get cycled out. So Sabo stays. It's good for a bit of mixing. It's good for keeping your cards KO immune, which is very good for fighting against Enel. We got Charlotte Flump. Hey, take 1 card from your life. It's what you're gonna need to get your card to 0 life every here and there. Kami. This is a card that's good for fighting against Enel. If you can get this card out and KO protect it, obviously they can Mamarag on it, but it just means they have to use more and more events to get rid of very simple cards. You got it down for 1 cost. They're going to need, what, 2 of their greatest cards to get rid of it? And if they ever try to use their cards for events or try to use triggers against your attacks, just mill a life, bro. Just mill the life. And you want to lose life, so you're chill, because you both mill every time it happens. Monkey D. Garp, Searcher, 5-cost Searcher. Hiyori, mostly going to be a 2k, but in some games she comes up. Some people want to play her at more. I think she's fine here. You can take her out for a 3rd Kami potentially. If you really want to cheat, you can get a 5th Flampe. Not my problem. But I like Hiyori at 1. She comes up when she comes up. She doesn't when she doesn't. I play Sabo at 4 still. Even though the grown up is at 2, I play the baby at 4 instead of 3-3 because the babies, you're going to see in this gameplay, can substitute for aces. If you have 1 ace in hand and 4 Sabos, and they can't remove 2ks off the board, you basically have 5 aces in hand. You can recycle your aces every turn using this. Luffy, essentially the same thing. All of these are useful, and if you get enough milling going, you can get it all to your grave. Some people have taken these out completely in alternative for these. I don't even like these. If you want to play this in real life, you could actually sub this out for ace. I'll be so real. Because your life is usually so empty, you don't get the additional rush. This card will get the rush every single time. I mean, you'll get the rush, but you don't get the additional power boost is what I mean. So this card, not only can it rush if you're on 5 Don, whilst the other one only has 6, this one is just immediately good. So you can play this to substitute if you want a budget crunch. I think only 1 game I'm going to show you today, it actually even made a slight difference. But only upside of this Luffy, it's harder for NL to remove it. If you still have a life up, which honestly you won't. So it's actually not harder in this build, I'll be honest. Anywho. Over to this Luffy, it's how you're going to mill life. It sits at 8k. If you try to use this effect and you don't have any existing life, you don't just lose the game. He just gains the 2000 and you lose nothing. Then we move on to Iron Body. Iron Body is clutch. Having 2 Dons up, people are so excited to just try to drill you and go straight into your life and win. Iron Body being able to give you a 6k counter for 2 dons is insane. It's game changing. Next, you have Black Spiral. Black Spiral is good for negating Blackbeards in case they're trying to ruin your on plays. It's good for negating NLs. If NL swings you before using his effect to get all his dons back, Black Hole the leader, bro. It stops him getting the other swing, which means you've gotten the effect of Black Hole off anyway. And he has to go into next turn without all the extra dons, which means it stops him getting an on play. Black Spiral can destroy some of these OP leaders. It doesn't help much against Nami, other than the fact that if they swing you at 12k into your 9k, you can drop him to 8. Meaning that, just like that, Black Spiral stop to Whitebeard attack. And it can be used against Roger. You negate that Roger, you get your blockers back. So Black Spiral at 4, undeniable. All those little cheats and all those little silly things that these decks do to get over your 9-cost Luffy, just get it out of here. Finally, this is another searcher just like the Garp, and then this is your unblockable event to go for game. Let's get into some gameplay so you can see what's really going on. Okay, so here we have our first game against Nami. I don't mulligan this hand because it looks good. It has a searcher, it has a baby in it. That's all you really want out there. You search quickly. I'm going to get the big aces. Big aces and small aces are small resources. What keeps your whole deck together. So you have one of those. I have one of the pairs. Right now, I'm trying to look out for a baby Sabo now. If I get a baby Sabo, I at least have one pair to work with, right? And as I said before, the babies kind of clone themselves. So if I get a baby Sabo, I can actually do the combo twice in a row. So right now I'm just kind of thinking, how do I do this turn? Do I get a searcher? I want to put the ace down, but I'm thinking, can you remove the ace? I should have noticed that Gum Jet Culverin in the grave, but in my mind, no way he plays that at 2, right? Like he plays it at 1 max. So I swing him at 7. But yeah, swing him at 7, see what he does. He does take a damage for it, which means, right, I'm learning information. He can't comfortably counter out of that right now. Beauty of BY Luffy, just take the damage early on. Until you get to 0, you take the damage. The issue arises when they actually start starving you, to be honest. Not taking damage is a bigger issue. Outside of the Blackbeard matchup, which we will actually see later. Games we have today is going to be this. It's going to be Blackbeard. It's going to be NL and Calgara. So yeah, swing again. Just swing him at 5. Just trying to get 1 card out of the hand. Even for Nami to use her effect, you have to get 1 card. So it's always nice. Here you go, Garp. Once again, not great. I look at my grave quickly, and then I think I should go for a baby Sabo here, but I'm kind of leaning between the 2. You do want to have at least 2 aces, so you can hack. You always want 2 aces in play, because if you have it on the field, you can't get it from the grave. So you need one in the grave, and then you just play them over each other. But I think I decided on getting a second Sabo, and he Jet Culverins it. Didn't learn my lesson from the first one he discarded. But yeah, Jet Culverin. That's now, I now have a Sabo at the bottom of my deck. I have tons of aces though, so that's always a good sign for a matchup like this. Now I'm just kind of thinking it through. Thing with BY Luffy, never be afraid to actually think it through. One mistake and you lose the entire game. Let me get this out of the way. No one wants to see my cup of tea. But yeah, one mistake, you lose the entire game. So you're allowed to use your time to think. So cool. Here, I didn't realize this was kind of the start of him beginning to try and starve me. He was quite hesitant to take these last 2 lives, and I didn't have 2 cards in hand that would allow me to take my own life. So my thing right now is let's just try to mill as much life off him as possible. He's going to gain 1 life per turn. I may as well try to take 1 life per turn. Let me actually bring my mic a bit closer. So yeah, he's going to aim to take 1 life per turn. So I need to So I need to make sure I'm matching it as he gains it. Looking through his grave, kind of getting an idea of what I'm looking at. Had no clue what that 5 cost was. Hadn't seen it before. Might be a good tech against Mihawk. I've actually been struggling with Mihawk as of recent, so might look as a Burn Blade, but no one really plays the Shanks anymore, so I hope Burn Blade doesn't get too popular, but hey, who knows? I might order some. Might order a couple. Looks like it might come up useful at some point if a 7 cost on play starts to change the game. So yeah, still watching, kind of seeing what's going on. He's just, yeah, building up a life every single turn between Gecko Morias, Robins. Goes for the Garp, which just was the early evidence to me that now he's committing to starving me. Nothing else is going to swing me if he's putting a 7 into Garp. So now I'm getting kind of worried. I don't have 2 cards in my hand to mill with. I don't know how long I can stay on. He's going to keep trying to put down fat bodies. It's going to get annoying very quickly. Looking at his grave, I'm not seeing a lot of 2Ks in there, so it is still definitely scary hours. Gonna get an extra 7 in with Garp. Garp's not going to last too long anywho. May as well get a few swings in before he leaves. Counters out of that with a 2k, which tells me I'm comfortable to swing at 7 again, because I'm either going to get another 2k out of his hand, or I'm going to get that Kumasi. Generally speaking, this deck doesn't mind your opponent swarming with a bunch of small bodies. So you can just swing into the Moria engine for the most part. Obviously, watch out for Pironas. But yeah, all those little low swings don't really bother you towards the end of the game. So he's considering swinging my leader. He's thinking, is it worth it? He swings my Garp again. Plans to starve me for the rest of eternity, but I luckily get a Luffy. Luffy lets me mill a life. Flampe lets me mill a life. I get a bunch of good draws off it. My hand's massive. Let's start playing One Piece, finally. My opponent's got a Whitebeard out before I finally get to use my leader effect. So what's important to me, right, is that every turn I need to leave at least 2 dons up. The reason being, if I don't leave 2 dons up, what's going to happen is that I can't use my black holes, and then the Edward Newgate swing becomes increasingly more difficult to survive. So getting my draws off of Sabo, it is also important that at all times you have at least 1 blocker up, and you need the black hole spell. That way, if he tries to do some unblockable leader shenanigans, you can just use black hole on the leader, minus 4k it, you survive it. Or if he does some unblockable card shenanigans, he can still kind of survive it. But Sabo is if they don't have unblockable, just to make sure they don't just shove all on lead and swing you. This is first attack. I considered just using my event, but I kind of wanted to keep the event secret. I think the moment I show that event, things become, he obviously starts trying to play around it anytime he sees I have 2 dons up. I want him to think I'm just leaving 2 dons up because I have nothing to do with them. Or even make him suspect that I have an SEC Luffy. So the moment I put that in hand now, I actually play it at 1, but these guys don't all know I play it at 1. So the moment they see 1, they're constantly scared I'm going to put down another one. So then they tend to be a little bit careful with their Newgates here and there. But as I said before in the thing, you can replace that for an ace. That could easily be an ace. You're going to see in this game, it almost never gets to gain any sort of attack because, as you can see, it's at the bottom of your life. So once you play it, it has no cards left in life to gain attack from. So swing 7, I get a 1k out of his hand. Get the other one out. Now again, so as you see here, right, I only have an ace in my hand, so you can't really clone an ace or like recycle that. So I get another 8 swing. Bosh counters out of it with 2k. Thinking, how do I want to continue here? I'm going to leave my Luffy on the field. So this is actually one of the few use cases it has. If you leave it on the field from the previous turn and you give yourself 5ks the following turn, obviously he can use those 5ks. It just gives you a bit of security in your first few attacks that he's not going to block early. Because if he blocks early, he powers up Luffy and he knows exactly how much buy. He doesn't want a 13 Luffy just swinging his arms around, does he? So we're watching now. He's gonna swing me out some low 9ks. Again, it's not really, it's no big deal to me, to be honest. Ain't no thing. Should be able to counter out of this. I think I end up countering out of this with Sanji, but I probably should have just used Garp first. I think in my mind, if this game ended up lasting 2 more turns, I was gonna need that Garp to search another ace to stay in the game. Obviously, again, the moment you stop having aces in hand or have your grave set up, that's the same moment that you no longer get your leader to 9k. Meaning that your next turn is going to be really awkward. You're going to be 0 life, 5k. It's going to be really ugly. So now he swings me with Moria. Again, what I could have done here is Black Spiral to save that. But in my mind, I've really wanted to conceal the Black Spiral. He doesn't know I play it. And now he's slowly just burning through my entire field. And now I'm asking myself if I made a mistake. But for now, I do still feel pretty confident. Obviously, if I can trick him into giving me those 2 lives, I can finish him off with the event that lets me ignore blockers. For some reason, people forget about that, but obviously no one at your locals or nationals is going to forget about that. He swings me again. Obviously just can't take that. So yeah, I risk another blocker. Like, the Black Spiral is such an unusual card, and there it is. It all pays off. They don't know about the Black Spiral. Nullify Whitebeard. He's used his blocker. Now I'm going against an empty field. I can go for game. So that's like what Luffy is. It's a race to see who makes a mistake first. And what Black Spiral does is it can make a perfectly logical play into a mistake. He had no reason to believe I could counter out with that Whitebeard. He thinks I'm just leaving dons open just because I have nothing to do with them. Not many people expect BY Luffy to be playing these sort of events. And because of that, I'm able to get this Luffy out. Again, it could have just as easily been an ace out, get the Rusher. And on my most desperate turn, I get to get some good licks in. Now, obviously, he has 6 cards in his hand. To counter out of this is going to take... To counter out of a 9 swing will take 3 cards. So he either has to take damage or take the 9 swing. This part here takes a little bit long because obviously my opponent's just kind of doing his maths and calculations. But after 2 9 swings, he has to give me a life, essentially. And then my leader's obviously poised to swing at 11. So yeah, just by tricking him into swinging him with the Edward Newgate, because he probably thought he would be securing game right there. No one's ready for that black spiral. Now, in my defense as well, you can say obviously it wasn't a recommended attack. That obviously could have just been a ground death. But he can't see any engrave. I've set no precedence for using any sort of events. He's probably not used to it. So then you swing the 9 with a Sabo, get all the cards out of his hand, finish off with 11 from Lucy. Alright, the second game is against Blackbeard. This is actually my second game of Blackbeard, to be honest. The reason why it's my second game of Blackbeard is because I actually played the first game. He forgot to black hole on my 9-don turn, which means I was able to just set up my entire board and just go for it. So I actually ended up winning the ranked game. So then this was the follow-up game where obviously he wasn't going to forget to black hole anymore to use the leader effect. But I actually planned to try catch him off guard by black holding his leader so he can't negate my own plays. I don't think that ever comes to fruition in this game, but it was the idea. So here's the alternative. He can't play his big Blackbeard until turn 10, right? When he plays on his big Blackbeard, he can stop 1 attacker per turn. Because all my cards are 5 costs, if I'm on 10 don, I can just put down 2 5 costs every single turn. So you have to pace yourself. Make sure he can't set up any sort of dot Q, that spell card that lets him draw 1 and drop you by 3, combined with Van Augers to start wiping out your 5s turn by turn. You essentially have to assume he's going to black hole every single turn and just keep setting up your 5 costs. That means your aces too, that means your Luffy's. Assume he's not going to let you breathe and he's going to black hole you for the entire game. Just establish a board of just a bunch of 5Ks, putting down 2 every single turn. He can only freeze 1, he can only block 1. If he tries to swing with his big Blackbeard, he never gets to block. That's what you want to go for. Now, funny enough, I actually found out this guy was actually a massive streamer before this game. I just happened to catch him on an off day. I know he mentioned he actually struggles with the black yellow lineup. But yeah, met him in ranked. Really, really chill guy. Fantastic streamer, but apparently he hasn't been doing it for a couple of years. So maybe one of you guys might know him. But yeah, right now I'm just kind of waiting for him to decide what he's doing with his turn. Obviously, he got to eliminate one of my 5 costs. That means at the very least I need to take out Dot Q. If possible, take out Van Augur. I can't let him just keep wiping out my 5s every turn. That's the ideal scenario for him. So I go 7. In my mind, I'm thinking I could go 7 with lead, maybe swing it to Van Augur, but then I notice I have the SEC Luffy in hand. Meaning that I can get the Dot Q, he gives me that without a fight, and then I can actually go 9 into Van Augur. 9 into Van Augur means he has to drop a 2-2 to save Van Augur. I don't think that's worth it for a Blackbeard player going that minus. You need to discard 2 cards every single turn. You can't just be going minus for free, right? So I managed to wipe both of those, and now I'm in a really good spot. Like, no one could convince me my spot's not fantastic. I do have this thing where sometimes after I finish attacking, I think my turn automatically ends, so I just go off and check my phone or some shit. I think I'm actually typing right now. Actually, I can clearly see I'm not typing. I'm just zoned out. I'll edit that out if I remember, but obviously it's all part of the strategy, innit? I'm just running my calculations. So now it's 8. You don't always know what you're gonna see on 8 with Marshall. You don't know if he plays Jack. You don't know if he plays the big Marshall that he teaches. Essentially, the best outcome for him would be finding a way to kill my SEC Luffy. But then even if he kills it, like, my entire game plan is just to keep throwing down 5 costs. So as long as I still have 1 in my hand to throw down every turn, I'm chilling. Might even throw down a couple of babies just to take out the Dot Qs. Once he runs out of Dot Q with Van Augur combinations, the game just becomes so easy for me. Like, there's just not much more space for him to do anything that's threatening. Like, my 5Ks are going to prevail. Again, once I can put down 2 of them per turn, he can only put down 1 Blackbeard. I'm eventually just going to outpace him. 9 dons, I still have 3 lives left in Black Killer Luffy. Absolutely insane. This is not what a game looks like for me, but it's just to show that you can beat Teach. So this game is a little bit boring. I might end up like just even speeding up a little bit further and fast forwarding through it. But it's just to show that like this is a strategy against Teach when you don't have your on plays in such an on play heavy deck. You just keep throwing down your 5 cost and keep throwing it down. I was convinced that Teach actually had the advantage here, so I don't know if me drawing this many 5Ks is actually representative of what I'll get to do if every time I play Blackbeard. But I drew all the ones I needed, put them down, and put up a decent performance of it. So yeah, now I'm putting down, I'm considering putting down Ace this turn, but I notice I have 10 done, so I can actually put down 2. Blockers are nice, but blockers makes it more obvious for him which card to freeze. So I want him to actually have to make big man decisions, you get me? I'm not just going to mill life for free on a turn that Luffy's not doing much. Ended up freezing Luffy because it can go to 8. I actually would have frozen an Ace myself. Because for now my Luffy to go to 8, I have to mill a life, which means it also helps him gain like distance in the game. It actually helps him get closer to victory. So now we're just kind of vibing. I'm trying to figure out exactly what I want. It's probably just going to be another 5-5, right? I have the 2 Sabers in hand just begging to be played. They're blockers in case shit starts hitting the fan. I want to swing my 7s first. See if I want him to be scared to use his teachers on the fear that I throw down a rush card and ruin his life. So the first one, I think he just gives me the life for it. Second one, he ends up blocking. At the moment I get him to 0, I have that Kizaru we're 100 times stronger than we were 2 years ago event. That is just game. So now I'm kind of just in my mind dividing my Don, just kind of getting good ideas how it's going to go. Let's get the numbers of it. I believe what I ended up calcing was if I put down the 2 Sabos, yeah, if I get both Sabos down this turn, then like next turn, is it not just guaranteed? Even if he puts down a 3rd teach, the win's already for certain, right? And he can't attack with any of them, so I'm just going to get 5 swings next turn. If he doesn't attack with any of them, I'm obviously going to counter out of whatever Marshall he teach does. I get 5 swings, he gets 2 blockers. I will just win the game. So he's used this as my age. Immediately stops himself from being able to throw down a 10 cost. Right now he means business. And I'm assuming that the business that he wants is a Van Orga combo to start breaking down my cards, but it's just too little too late. My board's gotten a bit too out of control. He doesn't have enough Blackbeards, nothing's getting frozen or negated, and I have too much life for him to go for game. It's tough, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I didn't obviously raise my Luffy to 8k just there, because if I was at 2 life, with him having a leader attack and 2 teachers, there's a good chance he could have gone for game. So I just want to be able to stack as many attacks as possible in one turn. He only has 1 life left. Sorry guys, I'm filming this at midnight. But yeah. Right now I'm probably typing to him. My face box is currently over the chat box. You can't see what I'm typing, but this guy was really cool, so we were trying to talk him back and forward a little bit. Easily could have probably put my face box in that bottom corner over there. Oh, I don't even have a page pointing in the right direction. But I want you to see when I'm attacking, when I'm ending my turn, to make sure that wasn't ambiguous at all. Even though it's just so irrelevant. So yeah, right now I basically have the game in the bag. He put down another blocker using his Kuzan, which was nice, but I swing 9, he has to give me at least 3 cards in his hand to defend it. If he gives me 3 cards in his hand, that means I can swing it for 7 for free, so he had to use a blocker. I'm going to do the same thing again. Probably should have swung it for 9 actually, but even 7 is the same thing. You have to use 2 cards in your hand. I swing it for 7 again. That's 2 cards in your hand. Now, I actually told him in chat if he had 2 2Ks, he could have survived this. I don't think he was thinking about my event. I don't think he had my event in mind. So here's what the issue is. I'm swinging at 8. I'm assuming that the best his hand could possibly is 2-1. After all of those perfect counters, after everything's been going his way all game, his hand should be 2-1 at best. Now I didn't actually, I think I did end up scrolling up in chat to try and see what some of the previous searches were. I saw Stronger, and I'm pretty sure I saw that he discarded Stronger with those last counters. So I'm like, if you've discarded the 2k you've just added, you're probably low on 2ks now, right? Swing him 8 again. Now all he has to do is counter out of this, like by 2-2, block the next one, then he wins the game. If he has 2-2 in hand. Anything but 2-2 in hand, he loses the game. So right now we're just kind of talking. For some reason he sent me like a chat GPT. description of his relationship to BY Luffy. The moment he gave me that life, he lost the game. He didn't need to do that. He did not need to do that. Fun. Dark. Yeah, the moment he did that, it was a loss. All he had to do was block that last attack. I would have taken his last life. He obviously would have had one turn to try and get me with these 3 cards. Both my blockers being rested at that time obviously doesn't help. But yeah, he would have been able to swing me twice with these. Would have had 10 non to swing with Blackbeard. Very unlikely I survived that turn. But yeah, another decent win. I just talked to him a little bit, telling him, yeah, if you just counted out, because it turns out his hand